Today I'm giving you my recipe for what might be the most controversial rib recipe on the internet. I'm excited to hear what you think about these ones. 3, 2, 1 ribs. I love them. The reason I call 3, 2, 1 ribs the most controversial ribs on the internet is because anytime I post about them or talk about them or share the recipe, my comments blow up. 3, 2, 1 ribs are overcooked. Whatever, I get it. But here's the deal. I grew up with fall off the bone ribs, saucy ribs, smoky ribs, and that's what I like to make to this day. I still prefer a rib that falls off the bone, and 3, 2, 1 ribs are those ribs, and they work every time. I actually just checked my website this morning. We have nearly 200 reviews, and it's 4.9 stars. So if you also love a fall off the bone rib, this is the recipe for you. We're starting with baby back ribs today. You can do these with spare ribs. You might have to alter the cooking time a little bit. So if you're doing the true 3, 2, 1, baby backs are the way to go. When you're picking them out at the store, look for racks of ribs that have beautiful marbling. That means the flecks of white fat in the meat itself. It'll make juicier ribs when you're finished. We're just gonna season really thoroughly. Even, I might say, aggressively. Not like you're angry at it, but like you really want these covered. Because during the cooking process, you're gonna lose some of the seasoning on the outside. During the braising step, you're gonna lose some seasoning. When you're moving them around on the smoker, you're gonna lose some seasoning. So by going a little bit heavy-handed, make sure that your ribs are incredibly well seasoned, and you'll get the flavor of the sweet rub in every single bite. We're using sweet rub here. This is my classic barbecue seasoning. It's one of the most popular recipes on my site, and actually my top selling product to date. Now, a lot of times when you're doing baby back ribs, we're gonna talk about this on the back side, you need to remove the membrane. It's a thin, papery piece along the ribs. They can end up chewy after you smoke it. Now, I actually got these ribs from Costco, and typically the membranes are already removed. These ones have been, but if yours haven't, I have a couple of videos on how to remove the membrane on the back of your ribs. It's pretty easy with a butter knife and a paper towel. With the membranes gone, we're just gonna season the back of these ribs as well. I really like to season the underside of my ribs because if you think about it, when you're taking a bite of rib, the underside is actually what you taste. That's what hits your tongue first. So having well-seasoned ribs on all sides is really important. Those look great. Now I go straight from seasoning to my smoker. I've got it preheated to 180 degrees. That is a low temperature. The first phase of this cooking process really isn't about cooking the ribs as much as it is getting a ton of smoke on the ribs during those first 3 hours. So 180 degrees, choose your favorite hardwood. I like fruit woods with ribs. It's a lighter smoke flavor, so think apple or cherry. If you want a heavier smoke flavor, you could go with something like hickory or oak. Our ribs have been smoking for 3 hours. That means it is time for the second step, the 2 in 3, 2, 1. I have 2 really large sheets of heavy-duty foil. I got my Pitmaster gloves, and I have my salted butter, my brown sugar, and some apple cider. The second phase of this rib recipe involves a braise. 2 hours in foil wrapped with all of these goodies. If we did things right in the last 3 hours, these ribs are going to have some beautiful rosy red color from all the smoke they've been getting on the smoker. But you can tell these are not tender. These are not done. These are really stiff, and that's fine. That's what this step is for. So they're gonna go meat side down in the center of our foil. And while we're wrapping, we're gonna close the lid and increase the heat on our smoker to 225 degrees. Now we're going to build flavor and tenderness in these ribs. A sprinkle of dark brown sugar and a few tablespoons of butter. Barbecue pro tip here. Don't let your liquid escape out of your foil. So gently fold up the ends, kind of tent up the sides, and create a little boat for the liquid before you add in your apple cider. I've got 2 cups here. I'm gonna go 1 cup per pack. Press gently, because we don't want to tear the foil, and then roll these 2 long pieces together to create kind of a steam pouch. We want to keep all the moisture inside of this packet. Now we press gently. We don't want any real air pockets in the wrap, so make sure that foil is snug around your rack of ribs. Now these go back on the smoker at 225 for 2 hours. We've hit our 2 hours wrapped. It is time for the 1 in 3, 2, 1 ribs, and that is the last hour with sauce. We have to carefully transfer these from the foil pouch braising liquid onto the grill grates. And at this point, our ribs really are fall off the bone tender. It's very important that you work carefully and be gentle with your ribs. We want them to fall off the bone. We just don't want them to fall off the bone yet. Now, before I pull them out of my foil pack, we need to drain off this liquid. So I usually grab a bowl and I'll use the foil to keep the ribs together. By opening up the ends and draining off this extra liquid, makes them easier to handle and easier to work with, and lets me get a good peek at the doneness. You can see the end of these rib bones right here. See how they've started to pop out of the ribs themselves? That's a good sign that our ribs are gonna be tender just the way that we want them. So now I'm gonna head to the grill, carefully transfer this onto the grill grates, bone side down. It's time to sauce for the last hour. I'm using my hot honey barbecue sauce. You can use your favorite barbecue sauce. One of the things I love about my sauces, they don't have any liquid smoke in them. So we're using all the smoke flavor from actually smoking the meat instead of artificial smoke flavor or bottled smoke flavor that you would probably get in a lot of traditional barbecue sauces. This is one of my current favorites, especially on ribs. Now, this is where if you want some tips on modifying the 3-2-1, maybe you want a little more bite to your ribs or you want a little less smoke here at the end, 3-2-1 is a base that you can build off of and play with. So if you wanted ribs with a little bit more bite, a little bit more chew, you could do a 3-1-1, or you could do a 3-1.5. I know people that do 2-2-30. Like, you really can modify to get the exact flavor profile and texture that you want. And that's what I love about 3-2-1 ribs. For all the people that have been in barbecue forever and say 3-2-1 ribs is a hack, I think it's a jumping off point for you to start really curating and cultivating the types of ribs that you like to eat. But I have to say, after over a dozen years cooking barbecue, when I'm doing ribs for my family, I'm still making 3-2-1 ribs because the majority of the people that I'm feeding want fall off the bone, saucy, sweet barbecue ribs. So for me, it's a tried and true and kind of a no-brainer. Our ribs are off the smoker, they look good, they smell good, and this little rib right here is already ready to just slide right out. I think these are great to eat, but I've also made these 3-2-1 ribs and pulled all the bones and done rib sandwiches, and they're phenomenal. Look at that little guy, clean pull. I'm gonna slice up this first rack. Now, these should be fall off the bone ribs, meaning that when you take a bite, they fall off into your mouth. That doesn't necessarily mean that they fall apart. You should still be able to cut through your rib exactly like we can here, but when you take a bite, you get that rib that pulls all the way away from the bone. So let's see how we did. That, to me, is a perfectly cooked rib. We gotta get Taste Test Todd in here and see what he thinks.
3-2-1 ribs. Bleh, doesn't work. Stupid dry ribs.
Rude.
Oh.
You're just pre-commenting?
Yeah, I'm just getting it out there for everyone. Oh.
Well, here's the deal. Everybody has their different preferences, and that's totally okay.
Yeah.
Todd actually does prefer a rib with more bite and more savory, less sauce, like a Texas-style rib. Amazing.
Are you kidding me? I'll eat that all day, man.
That is a good rib. I have yet to feed somebody a 3-2-1 rib, even people who are purists, and have them not enjoy eating a 3-2-1 rib. I'm gonna finish cutting up these ribs. I've got some friends coming over this afternoon to hang out and swim, and we are so excited to feed them. Oh, let's do our barbecue ASMR at the end.
Can you hear the juices?
I can see the juices. They sounded really juicy while I was cutting them. As always, you can grab the recipe in the description of the video. If you like easy recipes that make barbecue fun and approachable, so you can feed the people you love and become a backyard barbecue hero, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. We'll be back next week. We're gonna make some barbecue chicken nachos.
Okay.
I know, they're gonna be so great. I am gonna have another bite of ribs. We'll see you next time.
Trigger, trigger, 3-2-1, trigger.
They're perfect.
Guys, quit your complaining about the 3-2-1 thing. Like, I got sauce on my face. I'm just so over the.
Listen, take me seriously.
Take me seriously. 3-2-1's a starting point. It's okay. Don't cry about it anymore.
stay.
Spoiler alert.
Stay. Stay. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, it fell off the bone. Nailed it. Say what you want, haters. I know your kids would like them better too.